Hey guys, I hope you've had a great start to 2022 and are looking forward to the rest of the year. So, here on Living in Our 20s, I'm going to be doing something a bit different today. I usually interview people about their experiences of being in their 20s, but today I thought I'd talk about me, moi, and share my top 25 facts, defining moments, and life lessons that I've learned on my 25 years here on this earth. So, laid out in front of me, I have my top 25 areas that I want to share with you guys today. So I'm going to be picking them one by one at random and talking about that specific area. So let's get straight into today's video. Right, let's pick one. Cool. All right, so this one's a fact about me. My first one says, making sure I look good and feel good. So this, in essence, is me talking about how I love to dress up. I love my clothes. If I had the money, all the money in the world, I probably would have a massive closet or walk-in closet. Is that what you call it? Walk-in closet or wardrobe for myself, because I think I've just started to learn that over the years. Once I knew how I could dress myself, because pre-secondary school Jessica was not dressing up right. She did not know what fashion was. But I think the older I've gotten, I've been able to explore a bit more with my clothes and my choices. And I found it's just made me feel good and added to my confidence. For those of you who know me, you know I love taking my pictures. I love stunting it on the gram, or even keeping my memories for certain occasions. And I think it's just, for me, I just love looking back on those images of myself and being like, wow, I'm actually smiling. It's looking great. And I'm feeling great because of my clothes as well. And I think everybody should just take some time in looking after themselves. Well, I'll speak for me. I think for me, it's quite important to look after yourself, because it's just, I see it as a form of self-care for myself. And I mean, don't get me wrong, some days I can't be bothered to dress up. For this, again, for those of you who know me, you know, some days I'd be like, look, I've rocked up. This is what I am. I mean, this is me wearing makeup. You'll only see me in makeup on special occasions. Every day I'm really not in makeup. It's just me, my normal face and my glasses, because sometimes I do not have the time or I cannot be bothered. But I think when I do have time and I do make sure I do look good, I think it's just something I've noticed about myself that I like to do. And yeah, it's just, if I look good, I feel good, and I feel like I can just walk out and be like, hey world, this is me. We out here and we're looking great. So yeah, I do like to look good and feel good. All right. Number two. So number two is number two, another fact about me. Number two is getting into a relationship. So I'm in a relationship, as we know. Oh, some of you may not know. And this is my first ever relationship. I know, so it might be shocking for some, maybe not for others. And I think it's quite funny because it was an unexpected one. Maybe another time I might delve a bit more into it, but for now, I'll keep it brief. And I think being in a relationship has taught me a lot. It's taught me how it's something that will definitely challenge you, I think, as a person. And I mean to say that as in, it makes you think about, you'll definitely think about who you are. And I think it's more reminding yourself about who you are individually, who you are with the person you're with, and what you both need to do together and think about each other. Because I think when you are in a relationship, it's now no longer just about you, it's about this person and you both building a future together. If that's where you do want to go, hopefully it is you guys building a future forever together. And I think for me, what I've absolutely loved about being in a relationship is that it's nice to have somebody daily just asking you how you are, checking in on you, somebody who's there to support your goals and your plans, and somebody who's your best friend. Um, in that sort of romantic way as well. Shout out to Bookie too, my bestie. I still love you, girl. You know, you're still my number one. You know, just for this, I gotta say, it's him for today. But yeah, I think I can definitely see how I've changed through it as well, and not in a bad way. More just, I'd say more for the better. And I think that's one thing that's quite key if you are in a relationship or with somebody, is making sure that you're both cultivating each other and just making each other better in what you're doing and supporting each other to be the best people in the world that you can for each other. And I think that's the beauty of being in a relationship. Um, I think before I never thought I would, not that I never thought I'd be in a relationship. That's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that I think, I guess the reason that this is my first relationship is probably because there were, I guess, interests from men beforehand, but at the time was more like I need to focus on my studies, my education, and relationship was never really on my mind. Like I wasn't the type of girl to be like, oh, I want to be married by this time or I want a boyfriend at this time. Like as I said, boys are really not on my mind. I was more like friends, studies, I need to get the grade, I need to build my wealth. That was really my mindset. And I think a lot of people probably, again, for those who do know me or see me from afar, probably thought, oh, Jessica's an independent woman. She don't need no man, or she ain't got no time for a relationship. And I think for me, I never really saw myself as that, but having discussions with people who I know have thought that about me, and I think it's just interesting. But yeah, as I said, I think it's because I just wasn't really into boys at the time or really cared so much for boyfriend or relationships, to be honest. And so yeah, I think it's been an interesting experience. I'm looking forward to the future of my relationship as well. Things I might, as I said, also sharing this experience. I am no relationship guru whatsoever. This is just me pouring out what I have gone through, what I've experienced. But life lessons I've definitely learned from it is communication. I think communication is key. And one thing I would say actually is that communication is key, definitely in a relationship, but also pre-relationship. And I'm gonna talk to some of the men out there from my experiences, okay? Because sometimes you men are not clear in like what you want to do or what's going on, and I think that's caused a lot of hassle. And so I think as adults we should all just be clear as to what we want and our intentions, because I think it would save a lot of confusion. But I can also understand that I guess when you do like somebody or being in relationships, it is quite tricky to know what's going on here. But I think being clear and asking like, okay, what's going on here? What do you want? What's actually happening? But again, that's just me. That's just something I do. I just be like, okay, what's actually happening? I don't waste time like that. And I think also one thing I learned is being open to the type of culture and person you might be with, because I thought I was going to be with an Italian or marry an Italian, and here I am with a Nigerian. Not to say Nigerians are bad, though. Anyway, let me not start war. But yeah, I think I've learned that I would never ever thought I would be going out with a Nigerian at all. For those of you who don't know as well, I am Ghanaian. If you didn't know, Mensah is a Ghanaian name. So yeah, and I think it's also been nice to just learn about somebody else's culture, and I think mixed race couples are going to be quite common as well in the next few years. Well, it's already quite common to be fair. So I think those would be my top few things that I've learned from being in a relationship. Is there anything else I want to share about it? No, I think that's pretty much it on that. Yeah. Just to add on to it is that I've learned that men also have feelings. And what I mean by that is if you're a girl, for the females out there, if you're like me, who was somebody who was like, yeah, don't really want to go into relationships, or why is this boy talking to me, or why are you interested in me? I used to be quite harsh when I was younger in terms of being like, yeah, no, thank you to boys, or rejecting them. So I've learned anyway that if you are going to say no to somebody, depending obviously as to how the guy approaches you, if he's nice but you're not interested as well, just be kind and think about his feelings and the courage he's taken to come up to you as well. Because I can definitely put my hands up and say that before I didn't care. I used to just be like, yeah, why are you talking to me? Or why are you interested in me? Or what do you want me to do about that? Like, it just wasn't right. So yeah, that's the one thing I'd add on that relationship note. On to the next one. So number 3 is my faith. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Christian. I grew up in a Christian household. And I think I started to understand what Christianity truly meant for myself during my teenage years. And so that's when I decided to become a Christian, I'd say for myself, during my teenage period. And I realized that when I went to university, that's when it really, being a Christian was just like, wow, okay, cool. Am I still for this? I don't know. Because my first year was really difficult for me. Like, I think I found it very stressful because of my studies, trying to understand this whole world of university that I'd never been to before, trying to get used to my course members, and just feeling, I know there were times when I felt lonely because I was just like, what's going on, God? Like, I came from a community of having all my friends and family. Now I'm having to start again. And I think because there was just so many new people, cultures, and identities that you're learning at university, that I think it really played on my own mind. And sometimes when I felt like upset about being here or finding it not fun as it had seemed to be portrayed on like Snapchat and everywhere else at the time, I felt really angry at God, and I was doubting my faith because I was just like, oh, how come everybody here who appears to not be Christian seems to be having fun and I'm not? Um, and I just remember 2 moments that really helped me was returning back home and going to my youth camp. Shout out to Pastor Andrew who helped me during that youth camp to just understand my faith again and why I'm Christian. And also at university, I joined my Christian Society Chosen, and was chosen as the arts and creativity leader, which I actually wanted to run away from the first time I was given the opportunity, because I thought, oh, they're going to choose me because I do theatre. And I thought I just don't have time to do this. But I think those two moments were the two key moments that for me really helps me, because I think on the youth camp we were talking about Ephesians, and that book just clarified for me, like, I guess, unity within the church and what it means to be a Christian. And doing my being the arts and creativity leader at my university really helped me, because I guess because I am creative and a director, it was nice to produce two art events nights that people enjoyed. So like spoken word nights, open mic nights, or an arts and performance showcase that I did, two of them in my year as the leader. And I think for the first time I felt in my life that I was actually like planning and envisioning what these arts nights would be like with God, and it was just beautiful. And I remembered like being like, okay, God, literally speaking to God, being like, okay, what should I do for this event? I have no clue. No people are coming forward, and in the end, people came, and there was also a second night because people wanted more. And so I think for me, those were the key moments and areas that highlighted to me, okay, cool, God is real, and um, these are just these are the things He's using me to do in my life, whether it's being a leader at my university and just re-understanding who I am as well as a person, because I think I could definitely say at the beginning of university I probably didn't have a clear understanding of who I was or what I stood for. And I think the more I was part of my Christian society and understood the word a bit better, the more I understood more about who I am in as a Christian and as Jessica Mensah. And I think definitely having a community of Christians who are around you helps me as well in my faith, because I think doing it on your own is never easy. But I think the biggest lesson I've learned from being a Christian is learning to trust in God. And it's something I'm still learning. For again, those of you who know me, I would be saying this all the time, I'm like, I need to trust in God. And I think I find this hard sometimes because I'm someone who likes to like organize things and be like, I need to know what's happening. And also being a freelancer, I'm like, why? What is going on? I never really know what's happening sometimes. So I think trusting in God was the biggest challenge I've had. But one verse that always comes to mind for me is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9. I hope it is that one. I just need to check. Yeah, it's Proverbs 16, verse 9, which says, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. And I think for me, that verse, even I just always remember that whenever I'm doubting and just thinking, okay, as much as I do love to plan and be like, okay, this needs to be here and that needs to be there, or this is how I want this to happen. No matter how I want it, it's like I believe that God will always A, come through for me, and B, be able to make it happen His way, even though it might not be the way that I had thought would be best for me, if that makes sense. And so yeah, that gives me comfort. But in all, I'm still learning to trust in God and try to learn to just surrender things towards Him and not try to be like, I need to be doing everything. But yeah, trusting in God has been my biggest learning point and still is. Yeah, and I'm still going with that. Okay, cool. Number 4. Let's see what comes up. Passing my driving test. This one. This one. So I passed my driving test on the 3rd go. Now, the first time, I don't blame myself. I blame the instructor my examiner on the day. Honestly, I feel like, shout out to Howard as well, who was my driving instructor. On my first, I'll never forget, my first ever driving test. I was so, wait, actually, before I talk about my test, let me talk about my journey into actually getting into driving. So I think I remember it was my placement year. That's when I started, oh yeah, let me just learn to drive, because I wasn't like in a rush to get a car or to learn how to drive. I just thought it feels like this is the only year in my life that I'll have time to do things like this and learn. And I'm so happy I did it, because if I tried to learn how to drive now, I don't think I would have a driving license at this moment in time. So 2017 was my placement year, and I decided to do my lessons. I was doing my placement and also working on the side in the agency jobs, and I was just saving up money to do it. But I remember when I first got into the car, I was so nervous. Like I literally felt nauseous. I felt sick. I was just like, my legs literally would be shaking and trembling every time I got into the car. It was horrific. Honestly, I remember after my first lesson, I was learning the clutch, and finding the breaking point, and I was just like, it's okay. I don't need to know how to drive. TFL will do me fine. I genuinely don't need it. I can just walk. Who is forcing me to drive? But yeah, it was horrific. Like learning to drive it was disgusting. But in the end, I made it. And as I say to everybody who gets nervous, it's normal. I literally had to go online and be like, okay, what do you do when you're nervous? Like literally every time my instructor would text me or phone call me and be like, I'm outside, I'd literally be like, oh my gosh, I feel sick, or I need to go to the toilet, because I was just so nervous. But yeah, I just want to say that because honest, I feel like if you got as nervous as me and I was able to pass, you will be able to pass too. After some time, I managed to get over it. I literally just had to go, okay, he's here, just get in the car, Jess, let's not think about it. But it took me a long time to get there and for my legs to stop shaking because I just didn't like driving. Now fast forward to my first test. My first test, as I said, it's not my fault. I blame the examiner. She just had no heart, is what I'd say. So I remember I was driving, I got on the road, turning my left, looking at traffic lights, being a good girl, following the rules of the road. And then we then came towards the end of the exam. Throughout the entire first test, I only had 3 minors. And minors are just like sort of mistakes you make on the exam. So I think you can make up to like 7. I don't know, 7. It's been a long time. But I only made 3 and I thought, okay, this is great. Then we're coming towards the end of the driving test. So on the right, literally, I can see the driving test center, which is where I just need to drive the car, and this test would be over. I would have passed. And on my left, cars are coming towards me, and behind me, cars are coming as well. And there are parked cars in front of me, just to give you a visual as to what I was dealing with here. And so I'm going to call her Pam. So, yeah, her name's not Pam. I'm going to call her Pam. Pam, my instructor, the examiner. So Pam tells me to then turn right straight into the driving test center and park the car. So I'm thinking, sure, I can do this, Pam. So I then put what they call the indicators. Yeah, the indicators on. You can tell I haven't driven a car in a while. Indicators on, and I'm going to go right. So I start to drive the car a bit, then I pause because I'm like, oh, no, the parked car's in front of me. I can't. If I make this turn, I'm going to hit these cars and she's going to fail me. So then I thought, okay, what I need to do is to reverse back so I can have more space to make the turn. But then behind me, the cars are coming and cars are coming from the left of me. And I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? What do I do, Pam? Because there is no way out of it. I felt like she was going to fail me either way. So then I thought, I'm just going to continue making this turn, but very slowly. So as I do it, Pam then presses the brakes and goes, you're not going to make it. I was like, wait, what? She didn't even let me like go. And I was just like, oh, nah, please. And I thought this woman's going to make this a minor. She's not going to fail me. I turn in, I park the car, and she goes to me, oh, how do you think you did? And I thought, oh, I'm not sure. You tell me if I'm in it. And then she was just like to me, yeah, you failed. And I was like, what? I was so upset. I just remember crying. I was just so upset because I thought, woman, do you know how much or what it took me to get into this car, to get this far, to reach the end of my test, and then for you to fail me? Does she know how expensive lessons are? I was like, girl, it's just too much. So yeah, no, that first one really, it was painful. I think if you fail your first one, it's very, very painful because you just think there's just so much and you had so much positivity, and yeah, it was just painful. I can't do that again. And then my second test, to be fair, my second one, I just knew I wasn't ready. And I had Pam again. So I was like, well, this isn't going to go well. And she just kept, I think she was exaggerating. Like when I would brake the car, she'd like jerk herself a bit more and make like she was very exaggerative. But yeah, my second one, I accepted I wasn't going to pass that one because I just wasn't ready. I think I tried to learn everything again and it just wasn't time. But my final test, I thank God for the man that I had in the car. He was amazing, the examiner. I'm gonna call him Todd. Todd, shout out to Todd, wherever he is. He probably won't even know that this is him because I'm calling him Todd. Yeah, he was really nice. He was generous. I'd say he definitely gave me chances and like could see the potential in me. So because of him, I am now a qualified driver and I can drive. But no, yeah, he was really, really nice. And I didn't feel as nervous as I did with Pam. Terrible woman. I hope nobody gets Pam because she's scary and she's terrible. But we still love Pam. We still I'll show her love. But that is my driving test experience. This is number 5. So number 5 is interviewing Daniel Kaluuya. So again, during my placement year, 2017 was a good year, is what I'd say. A lot of good things happened for me in 2017, so I'm grateful for that. Yeah, so in 2017, I got to interview Daniel Kaluuya. Again, for those who might not know him, he's an actor. I first knew him through Get Out, the movie Get Out, and then he did Queen and Slim recently. He's done quite a few movies, to be fair. He's also in Black Panther and Judas and the Messiah. And yeah, I think, funny enough, at the time when I was offered the opportunity to interview him, I had no clue who he was. I had to do my research into him. I think he was also in Skin, so I had to look into that. But this was part of my placement year at Kiln Theatre. Back then it was called the Tricycle. And yeah, I just thank you to AXA Hines who actually gave me the opportunity to do this. And I absolutely loved it because one thing I've learned is that I don't really get starstruck, and well, maybe that's probably because I didn't know him, but who knows. And I think interviewing him was a dream come true for me because I used to love interviewing people. Like when I was younger, I used to just pretend to interview like the boys in my playground when they're playing football. So I'd be like, oh yeah, how do you find the match and stuff like that. Or I used to pretend to record things back home. Um, and I think getting to interview Daniel was nice because him as a person, he's just really down to earth and such a lovely person. And as I said, it just felt for me like a dream had come true. Just getting to interview him for the young people because it was part of a Q&A session we held for young people at Kyon. And I think it also tied in with my dream to want to become a broadcast journalist when I was younger. I used to want to work for the BBC. I remember during I think when I was in like year 10, I used to go down to, what's it called? Westfield, White City area, literally knock on the BBC doors and be like, hey, could you hire me? Or are there any jobs here? I was so keen on becoming a broadcast journalist. And I think that's what I would have studied if I didn't do theatre. But then I realized when I was applying for university, it wasn't what I really wanted to do. I think I loved getting to know people and getting to hear their stories and asking them questions about it, hence why I do Living in Our 20s. And also, I think being in front of the camera was quite nice too. So I thought, why not? Which is quite funny because I don't know yet. I'm still gauging if I still like to be in front of the camera or not. We're still learning and processing this. But yeah, it was interesting. But no, yeah, interviewing Daniel Kaluuya was really nice. And yeah, it's just really nice to get my interview skills in there and interview him. He was a great person and an inspiration. So yeah. Number 6 is being vocal on how I like to be treated. So I think this for me has been something. Have I been saying facts for life lessons? I can't remember if I'm still saying that. But being vocal on how I like to be treated, I think this is something I've started to learn a bit more as I've gotten older. Because I learned for me that sometimes I find it hard to sort of tell people if I'm upset with them or things aren't right. But I've realized that the more I stopped, the more I sort of was nervous to do that or share how I'm feeling, the more I guess people didn't know how to treat me or thought it's okay to just what's it called? Speak to me in a certain way or do certain things to me. And I think, as I said, I think now I've realized now I'm much more vocal as being like, okay, cool. I enjoyed that, or that wasn't really nice what you did there, or could you not do that towards me, or I don't appreciate you doing that. And I think it's just important for me, and I guess whoever else who finds it hard to be vocal about how you like to be treated to let people know because some people might mistake you for I don't know if they find you like a I don't even know what the word is. They might mistake I'm not even gonna say I think just knowing that not everybody I guess what you might find comfortable to do to somebody might not be comfortable towards them, or maybe what you're doing is quite disrespectful to another person. And so I think it's just basic standards, I guess, just understanding like, okay, cool, this person doesn't like to be treated in this way and they've been vocal about it. So I'm going to respect what they've said and try to make them feel comfortable. And I think also for you as a person, I think I've just learned the more you value yourself and know your worth, the more you know what you're going to stand for, the kind of behavior and the kind of way people talk to you. So yeah, I guess in essence, I just learned to be vocal about how I like to be treated. I remember my worth, and yeah, that is all really. Number 7, I think, wearing glasses. So I wearing glasses. So I started wearing glasses when I was born. I was born with great eyes. And then in year 4, I won't say the primary school actually, I'll leave it out. So I went to primary school and we used to have nurse. I don't know if you so I was born, I don't even know if my it doesn't matter when I was born. So basically at my primary school, I remember we used to have regular checks by nurses. I don't know what hospital they were sent from, but they used to come and check on us to make sure we were okay, basically. And there was one time when they came to check our eyesight. So if you've ever gone to the opticians, you know how they have like the letters for you to see, and it's like H and all these random other letters. It's funny I said H, but you'll see why. So basically, I just remember lining up, going to go get my eyes tested. I thought, yeah, this is cool, I've done this before. And it was my turn, and then the person checking my eyes was just like to me, oh, okay, what's this letter? And it was the letter H, and I said number 4, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember it so clearly because that's the day. And I think I then tried to say H, and I don't think they believed me, and so I said the rest of the letters, and I was starting to struggle to see the rest of the letters. And so from that day, I had to wear glasses. Basically, I have no clue what caused it or why it's happened. I think I've learned that in my right eye, I have like a is that astigmatism or something like that. So And so yeah, I think my right eye is a bit weaker than my left eye. Um, and it's funny because I thought the reason I had to wear glasses was because I used to wear my parents' glasses because they both wear glasses. So I just thought, oh, I made my eyes bad because of that. And yeah, I think it was really upsetting for me because I thought, oh, I was always at the back of the class and I could always see, like, we had chalkboards back then. I could always see, like, the learning objective. I could see the board clearly. And so for me, somebody who's in year four, it's quite upsetting to have to wear glasses. And glasses back then weren't pretty. And so, yeah, I absolutely hated wearing my glasses. I really did hate them. And I just remember my first glasses were like these Barbie doll glasses. It was just ridiculous. Um, and I think the older I've gotten, the more I've started to learn to love myself in my glasses, because one thing I used to do when I was younger was literally if somebody spoke to me, I used to take off my glasses and just be like, oh hey, it's me talking, and I put it back on. I remember I did that once for like a guy. I used to be like, oh, I'm speaking to, if I speak to him I take off my glasses, and then I remember my teacher saw and she'd be like, she'd just look at me and be like, Jessica, put your glasses back on. But yeah, it just goes to show like how like really, really badly I just hated wearing my glasses because I just didn't think I looked pretty in them. Absolutely hated them. um but I think the older I've gotten, the more stylish I've gotten as well. I'm so used to me with my glasses now. Now I'm just like, okay, cool. If I have my glasses, this is me. If not, obviously right now I'm wearing contact lenses. Yeah, I also blame, can't name the place, but yeah, I also blame the specific eye shop for my eyesight getting worse because I remember before I went to uni, I used to just have to wear my glasses to just see things that were far or see the board. So if I see you in person, you'd see me without my glasses. But then I realized that they said to me I had to wear my glasses all the time, otherwise my eyesight would get worse. But my eyesight had gotten worse through university and through studying and through them increasing my prescription. But yeah, I just blamed them also for my eyesight. But I'm praying my eyes don't get any worse and that the sight stays fine and stabilizes. But that is my glasses story. Cool. Boy, there's a lot here, isn't it? 25. Right. Okay, my next one is journaling thoughts and achievements. So I think for me, this is more just sharing that I've learned that I journal. Yeah, I journal quite a bit. And I think it helps because I think like quite a lot. I think quite often I think about a lot of things and I always have a lot of ideas. So I tend to write them down. And journaling is something that's been quite useful in terms of me processing how I'm feeling. If I'm angry at somebody, and sometimes instead of just, if I have the time to think about what I say, I tend to do that. I tend to, when I'm angry, I tend to think or remove myself from the situation, journal down what I'm thinking, and then go and reapproach the person. Um, because yeah, I think it's just helped me to think about, whoa, I think when I read it I'm like, whoa, was I that angry, or okay, this is what I want to say to them. But also journaling for me is not just about, like I said, it is about thoughts, but not just when I'm feeling angry or sad, but also just noting down like things that have happened in life. So that might be achievements. So one thing I do monthly is sort of noting down or journaling down, okay, what have I achieved this month, what have I learned from this month. And I think it's just a good personal development tool for you to get used to, because it helps you to relieve the stress that's in your mind and what you're thinking about, and it puts it down on paper and in perspective for you to see what the steps are that you need to take next. And that's how I work, I've learned. And also the achievements, I guess it's nice when you're doing so many different things or different projects like myself, to just see, okay, cool, these are the milestones that I've reached or I've achieved in my life that I didn't think I would achieve. So yeah, journaling's been useful for me. Have a go at it if you don't. I think quite a few people journal now though. I think a lot of females do journal. I rarely see men journal, but that might just be the men that are around me. Actually, no, that's a lie. My brother's journal. But yeah, I definitely say journal. Yeah. Cool. Right. The next one is graduating from university. So, boy, university, what an experience. I think for me, I'd say I'm very proud of myself for graduating from university because it was not easy. I think, as for everybody, final year of university felt like hell. I was just like, somebody needs to get me out of this university. I don't want anybody to ask me what I'm doing next because I have no clue. I don't know what's going on. Like, I just need to get out of there. I was just like, it was too much. Like, yeah, it was very stressful, very, very stressful. And I think this is on my course as well. I studied theatre and performance, and it was like on our. I think not many people know this. So when I say I study theatre and performance, it doesn't mean I just do acting. It means that my course is quite broad in the sense that we have acting modules. We have I was gonna say pardon me, why am I burping today? I was gonna say that we don't just have, I was gonna say theoretical modules, but that's not what they're called. But we do theory. We do essays. We learn about production. We learn about different things, different aspects, and we also had the luxury of what's it called, mixing our modules with other courses like digital media arts or English. So yeah, my course is quite broad in learning about creativity, but mainly around theatre and performance. And at the same time, that also made it quite stressful because it was like one moment I'm in rehearsals, the next minute I'm in the library learning for studying for my dissertation or for another essay or going on a trip. So you're very busy. I think the one thing my course teaches you is to be a very organized person and learning to deal with stress and under pressure because your hands are in so many different projects. But yeah, I think that's all of this is for me to just say that yeah, it was just a tough time because there's just a lot you learn to juggle, and I think every student goes through that as well. Like there's a lot you're juggling, um, and I think I found that for me the biggest sort of turning point was my dissertation. My dissertation was tough already to start with. I think the first sort of tutor I had for my dissertation wasn't very helpful. Didn't really understand what I wanted to talk about. My topic was on Black British theatre, and they just weren't helpful. They didn't really, yeah, they just, I'll just leave it there. They just weren't helpful, didn't really understand it. And I think I had already dealt with the pressures of being like the only black woman on my course. And so it was just a lot. And also the library didn't have many books on my area of interest. I remember I had made friends at a drama school in London, and it was through them that I got books. So it was just a lot of traveling and things I had to do for this dissertation. And I remember our dissertation was due in like April 2019, and I hadn't finished it, and it was like the day before. And I'm such a fighter that for me to not like felt like I wasn't going to make it and not finish it, I was just like, this is it. I was like, I'm never going to try again. I was just like, sometimes I might just have to give up and like just think this dissertation has finished me. I remember calling my friends. I remember traveling to Portsmouth to my sister's uni and being like, oh my goodness, like I just can't do this. This is not, nothing's coming. Like I went to every person I knew. I prayed. I was just like, nothing is coming. I can't finish this dissertation. It's madness. Like who made dissertation? Forget it. It's ridiculous. And the day before my deadline, I remember emailing the new tutor I had being like, hey, let's call her Sarah. Hey, Sarah, I just don't think I can do this. It's just ridiculous. I think I'm going to have to apply for extenuating circumstances because I just cannot sleep. I could not eat. It was ridiculous dissertation. I remember she was saying, yeah, it's okay. We can take a pause, think about you. It's fine. Then I went to the library and saw my course mates, and they were all like finishing, getting ready, doing their references for dissertation. They're like, Jess, have you done it? I was just like at that point, I'd given up. I was like, I'm not going to finish this thing. I'm just going to go to the library and just sit with everybody and watch them finish. And I think my course mates and my friends are just the kindest people in the world because they're like, Jess, you can't give up. Like you gotta finish this thing. You've got to finish this dissertation. I thought, what am I gonna do? I've got so much left to type up and write, and I don't know where I'm gonna start. Like, and every time I read a book, my mind just goes blank. I cannot think about it. But yeah, and so I sat there with them, and somehow, like I think a few hours after crying and being in the library, things just clicked for me, and I was able to just literally finish it. And I remember, I think I can't remember what time I stayed. I don't even know if I stayed in the library or went home, but I just remember submitting my dissertation around 2 a.m. in the morning, just before on the deadline day. And I was just so happy. I had to give thanks to God. And I was just like, thank God that whatever clicked for me clicked, because I actually thought this was going to be the end of me. That's how deep dissertation got for me. I thought, this is going to stop me from being able to achieve my dreams. It's going to stop me from finishing university. How am I not going to finish university after all that I've been through? I was just like, this is ridiculous. So yeah, but no, yeah, definitely my friends, definitely my course mates, definitely shout out to Sarah, but she knows who she is. The right, you know what? I'm just gonna say her name. Shout out to Laura, the best tutor in the world. Like honestly, I could not have gotten through dissertation without them and my friends and my family. Like dissertation was something else. But anyway, outside of dissertation, I think university is a great place, and it was beneficial for me anyway to learn about me as a person, to learn to be independent, to learn how to balance working like as in a part-time job and doing university, to learn how to pay bills, to learn about renting for a house, to learn about who you want to live with, to make lifelong friends. I think university is definitely a beneficial place for you to just discover yourself and see what you like and make friends. And I think that's what I found useful about university, despite the stress, despite it being like crazy in a weird way. It's just like that's what adds to the university experience. I feel like if it wasn't, they'd be like, "What is this uni?" But yeah, no, I thank God for my dissertation and my university experience because as I said, I'd even apply for anything, and I think as in terms of a job. And I remember just the month before I graduated, I'd been in contact with people I met my placement year, and then I was offered a job after university, and I started like 2 weeks after I graduated. No, it wasn't even 2 weeks. It was literally the weekend I finished university. I had to come back to London and start the job. And so I just give God thanks for that, because yeah, university was just crazy, absolutely crazy. But I will leave it at that. On to the next. My 25th birthday. Yeah, so I turned 25 last year, because I'm going to post this next year. So yeah, I turned 25 last year in 2021. And I can honestly say it was the best birthday party. I've never really had a birthday party, so my first proper birthday party that I've had, and it was just, yeah, it was just beautiful. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed people being there. And again, that birthday party is a testimony in itself. Like, again, those who know me, I'm a planner. I organize things. I make sure that if I want to do something, I think about, okay, what are the steps I need to take to get there, and what do I need to do saving wise. So I remember I started saving and planning for my saving for my 25th birthday towards the end of 2020. Yeah, because towards the end of 2020, I just remember I said September 2020, I'm going to start saving for the year towards my birthday. And at the time, I wasn't earning much, so I was just putting small amounts here and there. And I thought, okay, if I save up to like 500, that should be enough for a birthday, right? I discovered it wasn't, because halls in London are ridiculously expensive. I thought I could hire a hall for like 100 or 200 pounds. Let me be like 200 pounds. But it wasn't like that at all. Halls are, yeah, because I knew I wanted to do it in like a community hall, because I knew trying to hire like a nice fancy place would have been too expensive. So in essence, I'm just saying, like, if you want to do parties or celebrate your birthday big, make sure you plan, whether that's a birthday, whether that's a wedding, make sure you plan. Because I remember planning it and then adding, like, had my spreadsheets, and I thought, okay, let me think about the numbers. Who am I inviting? What do I need? We need a DJ, we need a photographer, all these different aspects. And the numbers were just not adding up in my bank account to what I actually needed. And so I was just like, right, God, so I really want this party to happen, but I don't know how it's going to happen. So I'm just going to trust in you. And I remember my friend David, because he also had his 25th last year. I was on the phone to him saying, yeah, man, like, these parties are expensive. We were talking about, like, how much are you saving for your birthday? And when he told me, I was like, rah, man, I didn't even have that much. It's crazy. But one thing he told me was being able to put like having a planning committee, which was my friends together, and that really helped. If you ever plan anything, always have your close friends help you plan it, because it'd be really useful. So yeah, David gave me that idea, and I made a planning committee for my birthday. And it consisted of like close friends towards me and my sister. And yeah, and shout out to my boyfriend too, because he helped as well. And yeah, I think honestly, without them, I don't know what I would have done. Like, and I'm someone who's very particular and knows what she wants. So I was just like, we need to, what are the substitutes if I can't get what I want? What can we do? Like, I remember trying to find a venue, it was all crazy. I remember my birthday dress. So I'd chosen this material I got from Brixton. And I remember I gave it to her. I thought I'd try a new seamstress. Number one lesson I learned is stick to your seamstress. Don't go to new seamstress. Like, men stick with their barbers. Women, do not change your seamstresses, because I did that and it was the worst decision I did. I gave this lady my dress for my birthday to sew. When she did it, at first I thought, okay, this is nice, but I put it on. It didn't fit me well. I told her, auntie, I just want the slit. I just want this slit to be a bit high here. And then she started to just be rude to me. I thought, okay, cool. She said I was going to go to hell if my slit was a bit very, very high. And I was like, it's not even that high. It was just above my knee. And yeah, and then she ripped part of my dress, and then she tried to sew it back, and it was horrendous. Luckily, my old seamstress, who wasn't available at the time, was able to fix it for me. So that was great. But yeah, I think I just learned, yeah, I think that's just taught me planning, because boy, I got to a point where I stopped calculating how much was being spent on this birthday, because it was a lot. Like, I usually do my budgets every month, and I thought when September came, I said, I'm not even going to look at the numbers. We're just going to enjoy, and somehow the money will be made back. And I thank God that I started the job around that time too. And I was like, yep, here it is. Here's the money. I only get to celebrate my 25th once, and I love birthdays. Everybody who knows me knows that I love birthdays. It's absolutely my favorite time of the year. I think everybody should take time to celebrate themselves. It's just fun, and I like to also make people feel special on their birthdays. But no, yeah, my 25th birthday was the best. And I enjoyed like the film my little sister made for me with my friends. Yeah, it was just lovely, really lovely. Had my big brother hosting. Yeah, just felt like a movie that day. I felt like a true queen. And I loved my hair. Thank you, Damaris. I loved the photo shoot I had. Thank you to Tine, who's amazing. I'll probably put Tine's Instagram or socials in the description box, because she's amazing as well, photographer. Oh, and Aaron as well, and my DJs, Daniel. They're called Infinite Sounds actually on Instagram. And who else helped? and the aunties that helped cook as well. Oh, that's the way. Actually, that's it. I probably should have said how to save money. If you want to save money on catering for your birthdays, those aunties who have brought you up, they are there. They will back you. Shout out to them, look after them, treat them well, because my aunties really came through for me in terms of food that day, and it just helps save money. So yeah, I think that's me. I love great things. I love things that are elegant, but I'm also cost effective. So though things may look great for me and it might seem very expensive, trust me, baby boy, that the amount it may look like, it is not what it actually is. I'm just very cost effective and I know how to use the money properly. Sometimes we might splash a little bit here and there because we deserve, but in general, cost effective. But I also like quality. So yeah, 25th was amazing.